Hey coin collectors, and welcome to DC Coin World International Coin Channel, and here it is, the 5 shillings coin from the United Kingdom from 1953. And we talked in one of our other videos when we talked about the 1983 quarter, and of course this is the Denver Mint with the D on it. We said, well, the United Kingdom doesn't have a quarter-pound coin, and they haven't since 1902, except in some circulating commemoratives. And this is really the only circulating commemorative. All the other commemoratives really weren't circulating, but this one was, and it came out in 1953 on the occasion of the coronation of Queen Elizabeth II. And you see this beautiful here, Elizabeth Regina, or ER. But let's actually not look at it through the lens of the. Let's not look at it through the lens of this holder. Let's pull it right out of the holder and let's actually pump it out. And why is it in a holder? Well, what happened was they did the year set, and this was contained in some year sets, and then there were some additions. So the year set actually was a velveteen kind of hard case with velvet inside. It had 10 coins in it, and this was the kind of the centerpiece, the 5 shillings coin. Another name for 5 shillings in the United Kingdom system under the British pound sterling was a crown. So this was a 1 crown coin from the United Kingdom. And before we get to the front and the back, or the obverse and the reverse, I want to show you something really cool, and that is that this was one of the first infused coins, and that's, you see this all the time with the United Kingdom coins now, but look at this one: faith and truth will bear unto you. And so that's kind of a good luck charm kind of thing. Faith and truth will bear unto you. This is a picture of Queen Elizabeth, and she's on a horse, and we actually know which horse it is, and that is this is her horse, Winston. So this horse right here, I don't know if it's named after Winston Churchill, but this is her horse, Winston. This is her, and she's dressed in her uniform as Colonel-in-Chief of the Grenadier Guards, and she wore this uniform in the Trooping of Colors ceremony. And see, we see ERII, or Elizabeth Regina II, or Queen Elizabeth II with a crown over it here. Queen Elizabeth II with a crown over it there. And let's really zoom in on those crowns. So 1 on each side. And how detailed is this engraving by Gilbert Ledward? It is amazingly detailed. She has the plume coming up out of her hat, or and you can see her hairstyling in her face. She has the riding crop and the reins in her hand, and then here's Winston looking at us. She's wearing her skirt. She's got her stirrups. You have the horse's tail. We can't see the horse's shoes, but we can see the ground underneath the horse. And then down here, we have this kind of floral down here. And way right here, we see the GL. And of course, that is the initials of Gilbert Ledward. Now, what does he have here? He has these roses here and here. This is such a detailed engraving. What does it say in it? Well, it says Elizabeth II, Dea Gratia, by the grace of God, Britain, Queen of all Britons, that's Brittons, Regina, that's the all Britons, all is omni, Britons, Regina means queen, and then Fidei Defensor, or Fid Def, you see on the modern coins, or FD, Defender of the Faith. And then, of course, we tip it up and we see that it has this kind of double beaded outer rim. And let's zero in on that, because there are 2 different kinds of this coin. What happens is sometimes they do it in different printings. And this one is what they call obverse 2. And there are 2 beads here. There's an outer bead and a big bead and a small bead. See where this eye from the Gratia points? If the eye from the Gratia points to the small bead, that is called obverse 2. if it points to the larger bead, it's called obverse 1 or front 1. Sometimes we call it, in coins, we call the front of a coin the obverse. What does that mean? Well, we don't really know. We do know that they minted about 6 million of these. In 5,962,600 of them were circulating commemorative coins. In other words, this supposedly had a value. I don't know if anybody ever bought anything with it, and that's kind of interesting, but it was worth 1/4 of a British pound sterling. And some people have gone back to the Royal Mint and said, look, can we still use that as 1/4 of a pound? And the best of our knowledge is this has never been demonetized. So this is still worth, as far as we know, 1/4 of a pound. But what's its real value? Well, it's probably worth, this one here, in the condition it's in, is worth between $5 and $7 perhaps. If you get one uncirculated, it's going to be more in the $7 range. Now, let's look at the back. What's it made of? Well, when we look at it, the crown, or 5 shillings, used to be made of silver, but in 1946 they changed the law. It was called the Coinage Act of 1946, and they changed it from 50% silver to 75% copper and 25% nickel. So this coin here weighs the exact same as the old British crown, which is 28.28 grams, but it is made of copper and nickel and not silver, not 50% silver. What do we have around the outside? Well, we see this kind of pointed. Sometimes I liken these to like pawns on a chessboard. These ones are a little bit more pointy than usual with this engraving. In this engraving, if you've seen the back of some of the shillings coins, you might recognize this engraving, because this was engraved by the people who engraved the shillings coins. And who would that be? Well, that would be Cecil Thomas and Edgar Fuller. Now, on the back of the shillings coins, you can see the EF and the CT. But guess what? If we look, can we see if we can find them on here? There they are. And they're way down deep, so many people miss them on this coin. There's Edgar Fuller's initials right there, right by the harp of Ireland, Northern Ireland. And here's Cecil Thomas's right here, CT for Cecil Thomas, Edgar Fuller. So we have both initials on the back, but they're really hard to find. The British Royal Shield has 4 sections, and these are the 4 sections. We have the section of England, which is the 3 lions lying down, or lions passant. We have the section of Scotland, which is a standing lion, or lion rampant. And then we have another section of 3 lions lying down, which is the lions passant again. And then finally we have the harp for Northern Ireland. So those are the 4 sections of the 4 quarterlings, they call them, of the royal arms or royal shield. And if we tip it up like this, we see something else there in between the quarterlings, and that is we see the Tudor rose right there, right above the crown, which is in the center. And then we see, what's this? It's a shamrock of Northern Ireland here. And then down here we see, in between the dates upside down now, this is the Welsh leek. So there's Wales represented on this coin. And then finally over here we have the Scottish thistle. So of course the Scottish thistle goes with the Scotland quarterling, and the Tudor rose goes with the 2 England quarterlings, and the shamrock goes with the Irish harp quarterling. And the Wales leek does not have a quarterling because it is not one of those memorialized on the British royal arms, or the United Kingdom royal arms, I guess you'd call it. So what do we got? Well, we got this fantastic coin. It's worth between $3 and $7 minimum. Really, they're not that rare. They're rated as 8 out of 100 on a rarity scale, and 1 is like you can get it anywhere. So 8 is not not very, very rare at all. In fact, it's worth very little. But if you are going to collect them, make sure you collect both of them. Make sure you collect the two obverses, and that is the obverse that goes with the I between to the small dot between the two large dots, and the one that goes with the I to a large dot. And that's all we really have today from the DC Coin World International Coin Channel. And we'll put this back in its case because that's how it was sent to us. And we'll go on our way as Queen Elizabeth II and her horse Winston go on their way in the royal parade. Thanks for watching the DC Coin World International Coin Channel. We'd love to have you subscribe to our channel and leave any comments you might have in the comments section.